Hi, Tom here from Allergens Released. Welcome back. So I got some coffee going behind me. I've got a pot in front of me. We're going to turn that on and get that a little bit warm while we talk here. So what we're going to do today is we're going to braise some chicken quarters. So we have bone-in chicken thighs, bone-in chicken legs, one for each person. So it's going to be for 4 people. We have a mixture of red onion, celery, and carrots. And I prefer red onion. You can use white, you could use yellow. Red to me gives me a little bit of a kick, and I like that kick. So we have salt and pepper, which will be 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of pepper. Got 2 tablespoons of chili powder, 2 teaspoons of cumin, 3 tablespoons of gluten-free flour, 4 tablespoons of garlic, a teaspoon each of sage, thyme, rosemary, oregano, and parsley. So let's get started. So what we're going to do now, while this is heating up, we're going to take 1 tablespoon of chili powder, 1 tablespoon of gluten-free flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, a half teaspoon of pepper, and we're going to mix all that together. We're going to coat this chicken with everything here. Coffee's done. I'm going to finish this coffee up and take a sip. Love coffee. So we're going to get our hands in here and we're just going to kind of mix all this up together and make sure that the flour, all the seasonings are going to coat all of this chicken. So as you can see, it's all coated. So let me get my hands a wash. Yeah. I'm going to take about 2 tablespoons of canola oil. I tend to use canola oil more so because of lack of allergens. If you use a straight up vegetable oil, it usually has soy. Now Caleb can't have soy, so I try to stay away from anything that has soy in it, and that's why I use the canola oil. I'm going to grab myself a pair of tongs. And we are going to see if you want this to be really hot when we're gonna sear this chicken first, okay? And that's not quite there yet, so we need to get a little bit hotter. So you want to hear that sizzle. You want to when you touch it, you want to know it's there. You want to know that heat's there. So, and you also want a quick sear. We're not going to cook this right now in here. We're going to sear it and pull it out. So there's been doing a lot lately and trying to get some things going in relation to this channel, and it's why I haven't been on in a while. I've been trying to find a way to make this food available to everybody. So you hear that sizzle? You want to get that sizzle. You want to hear that. You want to know that that oil is hot. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the skin side down and start searing this off and start to actually just kind of get some color on this chicken. So while this is going, I kind of want to know your thoughts on any of the dishes we've done so far. I'd love for you to, if you like these videos, to like, subscribe, and hit that notification so that you can know when new videos come up. I'd like to know if there's something you want me to try. You know, is there a dish that you want to have but you can't have because it has soy in it, or it has gluten in it, or it has a combination of multiple allergens that you would like me to try to convert so that you can have it? Let me know in the comments below. Let's start a conversation. Let's get a conversation going. So, one of the things I did not mention that we're going to need here is we're going to need some white wine. So I'm going to grab myself a quarter cup of white wine. That'll be used later. I actually was lucky enough to find a vineyard, an entire vineyard that doesn't have any allergens in their wine except for sulfites, which is just naturally occurring in wine anyway. So, look, I don't know if you can see that. Starting to get a little bit of browning on there. That's what you're looking for. So we're going to turn these over. So what this does is it starts the cooking process, but it also gives you some texture on your meat for when it's sitting in the sauce as it's cooking for the next hour. So. My dog wants some attention. What you want, you brat pop up? Huh? What? Who you barking at? Anyone here? You want to come in? No? Okay. That was Zeus. Zeus is a brat. He likes barking at the wind. So once this starts to get seared, we're going to pull them out and we're going to put them aside as we build this sauce, as we build this dish. So I belong to a community that helps deal with the videos and putting stuff out and trying to help me grow this channel. And that community right now is doing a challenge where it's trying to find me in the videos, not just the food, which is something I think I've been lacking in this whole time. So I certainly wouldn't mind some tips from you guys on what you think you might want to see in a video, maybe what you're missing from me in a video, you know. So just let me know in the comments below. So now we got some crust going here. See, like that. So we're going to pull that out. I'm going to put it aside for a minute. Put another one in. So, like I said, we're not trying to fully cook this yet. This is only the beginning of the process, okay? Once this is done, then we'll start with getting the vegetables in. By the way, I have my oven preheated to 350 because this is going to go into the oven and cook for the rest of the time. So, snap, crackle, and popping in there. I like that sound. That means that we get some hot oil. There's also one other thing we're missing. We're going to need a quart of chicken stock. So for the purposes of the videos, I don't make my own stock because I'm thinking of you at home who may not have time to like make stock on a daily basis. So I went and researched and tried to find a stock that Caleb could eat that wouldn't do any harm to his stomach or his immune system because of the celiac disease. And we're going to turn these over. I don't know if you can see in that pan or not, but you're getting a nice little darker, you know, like that skin is starting to caramelize a little bit, you know, that fat. I try to use ingredients that you would buy at the store because that's where you're going to be buying your ingredients from. You know, you may not have time to make stocks to do this stuff. So I've looked for different, tried different stocks out. Caleb tried some stuff out to see if he could stomach it. Keep in mind, he tries everything I make before I present it to you. So I'm going to pull these out. So now that that's going, we're going to take our vegetables. I'm going to get those in there. Going to take our garlic. I'm going to take the other half a teaspoon of pepper, the other teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of teaspoon of cumin, and the other tablespoon of chili powder. And we're going to start bringing all that together. So when you're braising, you're trying to add levels of flavor, and was referred to in culinary as a mirepoix is celery, carrots, and onions. So we're going to get these vegetables going. We're going to start cooking them off, and let them start to release their flavors into this sauce. That's the whole point of this, is you get as much flavor into this as possible. You start off by searing the chicken so you get some chicken flavor in the bottom, and then you add the vegetables and they start to and all the seasonings, and the seasonings help bring out all that juice, and that brings it into the sauce. And then you want to stop cooking the vegetables so that they will cook all the way through. So we're almost there with that. Now we're going to add the rest of our flour. So our flour's been added. Now we're going to add our wine. What that wine's going to do, it's going to pick up anything that was on the base of this pan, and it's going to reintroduce it back into what will become our completed dish. All right. So let that cook in a little bit. We're going to reintroduce our meat, putting in the thighs down on the bottom to give a base. So now we've got all our chicken in. We're going to take our stock. We're going to combine that right in. We're going to add in our herbs. Let me give this kind of a stir. And we're going to let this come up to a boil and then down to a simmer, and it's going to go into the oven for about an hour. Gotta love coffee. So as you can see, if you can get in there a little bit, see where it's starting to bubble right over there? That's the beginning of the boiling. So you want this to come to a full boil, a full rolling boil, before we drop it down to a simmer. A simmer is kind of like, see a bubble, like it's almost simmering right now, like a bubble every 15 seconds or so. So that's somewhere usually around 170, 175 degrees. You know, that's where the temperature is. A full rolling boil is at 212. So in the meantime, I don't talk about my family that often. And I feel like I need to. Like Caleb, for instance. The reason for this entire channel. He has celiac disease. He has allergies to milk, eggs, soy, tree nut, and peanut. Celiac disease is an autoimmune disease. It's not just an allergy to wheat and gluten. It's also an autoimmune disease that affects the body. So when Caleb ingests any amount of gluten, even trace amounts, everyone's body has these little villi in their large intestine, in their colon, that absorbs nutrients. Well, for some reason, when Caleb ingests gluten on any level, his body thinks that those villi are not good. So they attack it and they kill it. And so he doesn't get to absorb the nutrients he needs. So now Caleb was 6 when he was diagnosed. And at one point, my sister-in-law was almost going to be charged with child neglect because he was emancipated, he wasn't eating right, he wasn't taking down food. They couldn't figure out what was wrong. The last thing they found out was about the celiac disease. And once he got on the gluten-free diet, he started putting on weight. You know, when he started eating the way he should have been, he started putting on weight. So we're at a full boil now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this down to get back down to a simmer. It's not going to take that long. Like I said, I already have my oven preheated to 350, so that's getting ready to go. But you see how it's starting to slow down? You can see the bubbles starting to calm down a little bit. You can start to see that these bubbles are slowing down a little bit. And they'll get down to where they'll be like they were before, like about 15 seconds every 15 in between bubbles. So, and once this gets down, that's when it's going to go in the oven. Got my little lid here for covering. See how it's slowing down? It's getting lower. So it's almost there. So now we're going to cover this. We're going to head into the oven. Got a small oven. So, all right. So, I'm going to set my timer for an hour. We're going to come back. We're going to pull that out. We're going to try it out. We're going to have some good food. Stay tuned. I'm going to pull that out right now. This over here. So now what we're going to do, We're going to pull all this chicken out. And put it aside. So now that we've got all the chicken out, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back here a little bit just because I don't have an extension cord. So put this right here. You can still see me good. I am going to pull out my immersion blender. Plug that in back here. And I'm just going to puree everything in this pan. So what this is doing is this is pureeing all those vegetables and all that flavor that we just put in and cooked that chicken in, and it's going to make a gravy. Put this right here for right now. A little too hot to hold. Bring this back over here. Grab us a nice little plate. Going to take us one thigh, one leg, lay it on some of this sauce. Look at that. Baby arugula, which is what that is. Look at that. We're going to dig in right now. Let's get in there. Fork. Knife. Oh, that's so moist. That flavor cooked in there beautifully. You can serve this to anybody whatsoever, and I guarantee you they won't know the difference. And I know Caleb can eat this because he has. This arugula is edible. So, try these recipes at home. Let me know what you think in the comments below. What you didn't like, what you do like. Now, personally, I like some like, you don't necessarily need to use the chili powder and the cumin. I like them. They're two of my go-to flavors. You can use whatever spices you like. Check your spices first to see if they're gluten-free. If you have issues with gluten. If they, you know, sometimes there's a, I like to call it an anti-clumping device that the companies use to keep things from caking up, or anti-caking device. Some of those devices have gluten in them, so you might want to check you definitely want to check your labels before you pick up any spice or anything that's dehydrated or powdered, because sometimes there's a lot of that in there. Just enjoy, because, and I say this all the time, food should be good for everybody. It should taste good for everybody. You shouldn't have to be limited by whatever allergy you have. Go for it. Thank you, and have a good day.